Good afternoon, Jacob, the outspoken engineer, and I want to go through a few points with you which hopefully will sum up the answer to the question, what makes a good engineer? Right, from top to bottom, meaning the most critical to the least important, I put it down as attitude as the most important, the appearance, your behaviour, your resilience on site, into a customer's house, into an office building, and then the last but not least, technical ability. So, you're probably thinking, why is technical ability last and attitude is first? If you're not thinking that, I'm going to tell you anyway. Right. The task in hand, your attitude will basically give the answer to the problem or what you're trying to troubleshoot or the task ahead. If you've got a good attitude, that attitude is PMA, positive mental attitude. If you're positive, if you're polite, if your attitude is, let's get this done, rather than, oh, we all know that person, oh, another one of those, not again. The reality is your attitude is probably going to give the result in what you're doing, whether it's going to end up working or whether it's going to need you to come back. But the way you've spoken to your customer with your great attitude has got you to the next stage, which will be to repair what you're trying to repair or install what you're trying to install. Right, the second, appearance. Appearance is number 2 on my list. And the reason for this is I've dealt with and worked with hundreds of engineers over the last 15, 16 years. And one of these things is you will never find a bad engineer which looks good. And that is customer uniform, flying the badge, flying our flag, Subco FM, engineers wearing the uniform. PPE, you will never find a bad engineer in good uniform. To have a good engineer wearing bad uniform, trainers on site, no PPE, is very unlikely. And if anything, they're selling themselves short or selling yourself short. So what you want to do is get your appearance, get neat, get clean, look good, because your uniform is so important. There's a reason why the army has a uniform. There's a reason why the police has a uniform. If you're a police officer, come to your door because you're being burgled wearing trainers and a gold chain, you really going to trust that guy? Well, if you're an engineer, aircon, boiler, electrician, and you're in someone's house wearing baggy jeans, ripped jeans, manky trainers, do you really want to be taken seriously? And if you do want to be taken seriously, you're doing yourself out of work or you're doing yourself out of skill set. So get your appearance in order. Number 3 on my list, kind of should be number 1. Attitude, appearance, and behaviour, AAB, AB. They should all be in line, but I've put it in a list format. Behaviour, so your behaviour on site. Swearing, politeness, assertiveness to clients. If your attitude's in order and your appearance is in order, your behaviour, I can guarantee, is in order. We've got enough engineers that work for us which have the attitude, have the appearance, and have the behaviour. However, we have had some which have great appearance and a really bad attitude, and also bad behaviour. Bad behaviour could be turning up late, smelling of alcohol, dirty vans, I'm just trying to hit the nail on the head with the behaviour, really. The reality is, if you're bad behaved to a customer, forget your skill set and forget how good you are as an engineer, because you're no good. And the reason you're no good is because you're going to upset your company, you're going to upset your own customers, because you could be a really talented engineer and have the worst behaviour on site, or where you do become frustrated with the task, your behaviour changes to, whoa, whose fault, who can we blame? Let's blame someone. Let's get blame culture involved and blame a single person because it's not my fault. Well, the reality is that comes under your behaviour. So that's a topic that we can discuss later on. But the reality is behaviour can be nipped out with talent. So, education and on-site training, that can affect and that can improve your behaviour on site, because when people do get frustrated, behaviour usually is the first thing to go. Someone is frustrated on site because they can't get something working, they're ringing up a supplier, no one's answering their phone. The first thing which will go is their behaviour, not their attitude or appearance. Their attitude is, they're trying to get it done. Their appearance, they're not going to start looking messy and dirty because they can't, someone's not answering the call. It's usually their behaviour. The 5th of my list, actually my 4th of my 5th, is resilience. So, if you're problem solving, whether it's aircon, heat pumps, electrical, boilers, that problem in front of you can be measured by your resilience. I know so many good engineers will just give up too soon. If you've got a problem and you can't get the technical ability, find someone to ring. Don't just give up. Have a go. You know, failing sometimes and breaking something is usually one step into getting it working. At least you've broken something and you realise it wasn't that. You know, resilience is so important. Me as a person and in business, and in where the company and myself is going, you know, we're so resilient. It doesn't always work the way it needs to work, and things go wrong. But how, as that old Rocky, you know, the old Rocky, I think it's Rocky 6. It's not about how hard you hit, it's how hard you can get hit and get back up. That's resilience, and that's so important in engineering. And last but not least is technical ability. So I've met and worked with, I don't want to say hundreds because I'm blowing my own trumpet, but I've met some engineers in my time. And even some of the engineers that trained me, technically, they're like kung fu masters. They were sick. They were so good. They're the engineers which you'd say aren't bred anymore. However, there was one thing that set our engineers and some of the other engineers that I sort of knew apart from them, and is they had a terrible attitude, terrible appearance, terrible behaviour, or no resilience. One of them or all of them. Basically, technical ability with experience and time can be taught. If someone is underskilled, they can be taught. Experience, it can be taught. Experience itself is a learning curve. So the reason I put technical ability last is because whether you're an engineer, whether you're a project manager, whether you're a consultant, whether you've got a really high paid IT technical, real, what I call a blue technical job, technical skill set where you really do need to understand the nitty gritty of things. You could be a lawyer. If you've got the technical ability and you've done the training, but you can't get up in the morning, or you look terrible because you really don't care about how you look and how people perceive you, because you know you don't care what people think of you, the reality is you'll never get the credit, and you're doing yourself out of basically being credited and how good you are, because you won't be taken seriously. And that's something which can be taught, technical ability. But the others, you can't teach it, but sometimes I believe it's something which you will learn early on in life, but it's something that you can pick up on. So attitude, appearance, behaviour, resilience, technical ability. If you think there's anything I've missed, if anything can be added, let me know. Again, we're all about being better at our jobs, about being better engineers, better people, and appearing to be as helpful as possible, rather than being real super intelligent and keeping it all in there and not letting it come out of here or letting our hands do the talking. Outspoken engineer, thank you so much for your time, and any questions, comment below. Speak to you soon, guys and girls.